On today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, the first reactions and reviews for the new Wonka film are out, and they're looking really damn good. Also, Tom Holland has given us the first updates on the progress and where they're at with the new Spider-Man 4. The Minecraft movie with Jason Momoa, well, they just signed up one of the stars of Peacemaker to be in it as well. The Furiosa trailer has dropped. I think it looks fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, Godzilla -1, we've seen it. It might be the best Godzilla movie ever. That and a whole bunch more. The John Campea Show podcast starts right now. Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show podcast, coming to you from right here in our quaint little studio, brought to you in part by our friends at Mint Mobile. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies and movie news, TV and streaming, and all sorts of good stuff, not just giving you our opinions, but giving you guys some information and context so you guys can form your own well-informed opinions, whether they're the same or different than ours. Joining me in studio today, we got Ray Oro. Over there is Jonathan Voico.
Roar.
Chris Carr is here. And most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. Here's how the show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about those predetermined topics. Then in the last part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. Now, if you're watching live, you can use the super chat feature and send those in. But we also asked our beloved YouTube channel members to fire in some topics a little bit earlier today, and we'll get through as many of those as we can. All right, before we get started, I just wanted to point this out. This was a really cool little thing for us here. I want to share it with you. You guys know that this year we really put a big emphasis on our podcast and the audio only version of the podcast, the show. We kind of primarily make the show as a podcast now. Well, we had over, according to the numbers sent to us by Spotify, we had over 57% growth this year in our podcast. But this is the really cool thing. That in 2023, out of the video, remember, because we also put the video version of the show up on Spotify as well. And they told us that the John Campea Show were in the top 1% of the most viewed videos on Spotify. So thank you so much to everybody who supports us on whatever podcasting app you use, whether it's Spotify or Apple or other third-party podcast applications. Thank you for that. And we're just going to keep on going. All right. With that down, guys, let's get things started here, and we're going to start off with this. Once Dune moved out of the 2023 release calendar year, my number one most anticipated film became Wonka. I'm going to confess, I'm not the biggest Willy Wonka fan in the world. Don't get me wrong, like everybody else on the planet, I really like the Willy Wonka movies. I really do. The original Gene Wilder. I even like the Tim Burton, Johnny Depp one. Sue me. I even like that one.
His teeth are too scary.
A lot of people felt the same way.
They're too perfect. It throws me off.
So this new one's coming up, but the main reason that this one is the most exciting for me for the year, at least for the balance of the year, isn't that it's Timothée Chalamet, although I think he is the next great actor, is going to be Timothée Chalamet. But it's because it's got the Paddington director. And no joke, the first two Paddington movies, I mean, if the third Paddington is nearly as good as that, it's in the conversation of the greatest trilogies of all time. The Paddington movies are just that perfect. They're incredible. And if he can bring that kind of charm and warmth and humor and fun into a Willy Wonka thing, it could be really, really good. And I've had a lot of belief in it. Well, the first reactions and reviews have now come out. And right now, they are stellar. This comes to us from Variety, quoting some of the people who came out of the first screenings there of it. Courtney Howard writes, Wonka, the Wonka movie, is a winning confection filled with perfect amounts of charm, whimsy, and poignancy, powered by pure imagination and bright, nimble musical numbers. Timothée Chalamet is a charisma factory. His full committal is intoxicating. Hugh Grant is exceptional. Then we go on down to our friend Jermaine Lucier, who writes, Timothée Chalamet is reason alone to see Wonka. He's infinitely charming and a blast to watch. The movie around him isn't as good, but it's enjoyable. The story and tone fight against each other, leaving a bit muddled, and Yet, it's filled with joy, and the songs are a delight. This comes us from Jazz, who writes, Wonka is visually delightful. Shout out to Nathan Crowley, and his world building is fantastical in every way. David writes this one. I know Jonathan liked this one. Wonka, good. Paul King, that's the director, good. Perry Nemiroff writes, Wonka is a super charming delight powered by an exceptional and pitch-perfect performance from Timothée Chalamet. It can get quite silly. Well, I mean, it's Willy Wonka. Of course it can. It can get quite silly, and there's a few plot points that are a tad on the thin side, but that couldn't stop such an impossibly sweet with hefty and, well, I won't expand out. You got the idea. Also, we got this from, where'd we go? Daniel Howitt, who writes, the Wonka movie is unabashedly silly and a perfect, charming family film. Wonka's world is brilliantly designed, capturing the wonder of his early years. Embracing a quirky, heartwarming tone, Wonka is funny and sweet enough to overcome any minor bumps in the road. And we'll end off here with Zoe Rose Bryant, who wrote, Wonka is an instant holiday classic and a truly magical time at the movies. Paul King's whimsical style works as well here as it did in Paddington. Every musical number enchants, and the entire ensemble takes turns stealing the show, led by an endlessly charming Timothée Chalamet. And as you go on and on and on, you also get a lot of Hugh Grant talk in there. A lot of people, and who didn't know right away, the first moment we saw Hugh Grant as an Oompa Loompa, that we knew this was going to be something that could steal the show. A lot of people are talking a lot about that. I'm very excited to hear this. I'm not surprised to hear this. Again, for me, it's all about who the director is. And Paul King, who gave us the Paddington movies that are near damn perfect movies for what they are. I've had all the belief in this. Hopefully I'll feel the same way when I see it. Sometimes I don't. I hope I will in this case. Anyway, Chris, you're hearing the reactions coming out of Wonka. You were there at CinemaCon when they showed us the big presentation from it.
Sure was.
Where's your expectations been, and what do you think about the reactions we're hearing?
I can't get excited about this
Oh,
movie.
no.
I remember at CinemaCon, you guys were so hyped about it, and it was just, I don't know, I'll take my kind of vaguely homicidal Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka, thank you very much. What I have loved about this movie is so many of you guys keep sending me that wonderful meme of Gonzo from Muppet Christmas Carol, talking about how Timothée Chalamet stole his whole fit. So thank you for that. That's been the best thing to come out of this for me.
So true.
I love Paul King. I think the Paddington movies are fantastic. They are so much better than they have any right to be.
Completely agree.
I did not go into those thinking I was going to watch masterpieces. Surely not on the second one going, how is this better? How is this a better movie? All that said, though, it's just still one of these movies that I'm going to see it. I know I'm going to see it. And maybe it'll absolutely just exceed my expectations. And I sure hope it does. But it has been one that I just haven't gotten particularly jazzed about. Really like Timothée Chalamet. Again, I really like this director, but so far it's been a little too cute. And while I love cute and it's got a place, I don't know if it's in Willy Wonka for me. I like it being a little bit sinister and chocolatey.
Hey, listen, I've had a lot of movies that I've had my doubts about. Actually, the first Paddington, I still remember. I've told the story before, but you know, I did not think that first Paddington movie looked interesting or good at all. And this was back in the day when I was wasting my time still going to press screenings. And I didn't want to go alone, and Anne was busy, so I talked Schnepp into coming in, and Schnepp's like, I don't know, that doesn't look very good. I'm like, I know it doesn't. He goes, whatever, I'll go with you. And we went down and watched it, and we just came out like, what the hell was that? That was amazing. And I just, again, to me, it's all about the director. So I have all the belief in the world in this because of him. And if they can deliver even 3/4 of what these reactions seem to be giving it,
yeah,
I think we might be in for a good time. Hopefully, fingers crossed. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, Spider-Man No Way Home wasn't just a real fun time at the movies, but it went on to become, without hyperbole, one of the most successful films in the history of Hollywood. It kissed right up against the $2 billion mark. It got real close to hitting the $2 billion mark. It set incredible standards at the box office. People went back to go see it in droves. And it really kind of rounded out, at least at the time, what has been a very successful solo Spider-Man run for Tom Holland. And of course, why am I suddenly freezing on the name of the director? Watts? Yeah, John Watts.
John Watts, yeah.
The director, John Watts, who directed him and all that kind of stuff. So clearly everybody's talking, well, when's the next one coming? When's the next one coming? And there's certainly been some hints dropped here and there that they definitely want to do another one and they're going to do another one, but there is nothing official at this point. Well, according to Deadline, Tom Holland is now giving us a little bit of an update, and it's kind of a nothing burger, but there's still something interesting in this nothing burger that I want us to talk about. All right, so this comes to us from Deadline, who write the following. Tom Holland has an explanation on why no sequel to his blockbuster Spider-Man No Way Home has emerged. During a press conference with the Critics' Choice Association, Holland said a compelling story idea has yet to emerge. Holland said this: "All I can say is that we have been actively engaging in conversations about what it would potentially look like for a fourth rendition of my character." Just a side note, Tom, it's not your character. Just want to throw that out there. He said, "Whether or not we can find a way to do justice to the character is another thing. I feel very protective over Spider-Man. I feel very, very lucky that we were able to work on a franchise that got better with each movie." I'm not sure, sir, that's true, but that got more successful with each movie. That's definitely true. Which I think is really rare. Also is true. And I think to protect his legacy, so I won't make another one for the sake of making another one. It will have to be worth the while of the character. All right. So the first thing that I want to just kind of point out that is clear in the messaging here is that, yeah, well, there's no script right now for Spider-Man 4. There's definitely no official thing. You know, we did a segment on the show the other day about the officially upcoming MCU movies and the ranking them in terms of what their chances are of hitting the $1 billion mark. I don't think any of them do except for Deadpool 3. But a lot of people wrote in and said, "John, why didn't you include Spider-Man 4? To which we try to say, well, because as of right now, there is no Spider-Man 4. There's no green light. There's no script. And they don't even know if they got a movie yet or not. So that's one of the things that's kind of been confirmed here for that. So a Spider-Man 4, I have zero doubt is going to happen. I don't know if we're going to get one before the Avengers movies comes out. I'm not sure we're going to get another Spider-Man. I mean, we may see Spider-Man in one of the Avengers movies, but I don't think we're going to get a Spider-Man standalone movie before that. But who knows? A lot of strange things can happen. The other thing is this. Does anybody believe an actor anymore when they say, "Oh, if they get the script right, I'll do it"? You're going to do it. And it has nothing to do. That is just now the boilerplate thing actors are supposed to say. Now, that doesn't mean I don't believe Tom when he says he feels very protective of the character. He feels an incredible gratitude for what they've been able to do with the character. 100%. I think Tom has been a delight playing this role, all that kind of stuff. But I believe they can walk in and say, "Okay, we got a script." And before opening it, he'll say, "Okay, where do I sign?" Because I think any actor would in his position.
It does sound like he's been hanging out with Chris Evans, though. I'm very protective of his character.
It's the standard thing that we're hearing from these actors now. Yeah, well, I'm very protective of the character. This is exactly what Chris Evans said.
What he needs to do, though, is hang out with Andrew Garfield and learn how to be a great liar.
Oh, yes.
Because he's just too earnest. That's why I do take him at face value of, this sweet little baby can't lie for shit.
And I don't think there's any lying going on. I just think, he'll do it. He's going to do it. I just think
if there's anything happening with the movie, he won't be able to tell us, like, it's not,
He'll just be like, "I'm not in the movie."
We're so excited. Yeah. I'm so excited to be working on this. I mean, have you watched my show on Apple? Like, he won't be able to keep his mouth shut once they do start things rolling.
And the answer to that question is no. Nobody's seen that show.
I did. I completed it. I had to finish it.
I started it.
He tries so hard. He and Amanda Seyfried give it their all. And that script just really lets everybody down.
You know what? There's a little bit of Michael Fassbenderism happening with Tom Holland right now.
Yes,
in
I
the
can
sense
see
that he is a ridiculously gifted actor.
So good.
And he has just ended up in some stuff that has just not been good. And it's not his fault.
No, but it has made money. I mean, I don't like Uncharted. I know some other people in this room do, but it made money.
But I mean, but then there was the one, I keep forgetting the one he did that was produced by the Russo brothers.
Oh, the chaosy.
It's the name of a color or the name of a flower.
Walking.
Well, no. Yeah. Well, there was Chaos Walking, which nobody discusses anymore.
Cherry?
No, what's that? Cherry. That was it.
Cherry, yeah.
Cherry was not very good. He's got that Fred Astaire thing coming that
So excited about
could be
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it could be completely flop material and nobody watches it.
Or he could get an Oscar.
I'm interested in him play because he is a remarkable dancer.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Holland is actually not on Hugh Jackman's level, but he's a very well-rounded entertainer overall, right? So it'll be interesting to see where we go from here. So yeah, at the end of the day, what's our takeaway from this? Tom Holland will do this movie as soon as they have a script. But I mean, right now, it doesn't sound like they're making a ton of progress at the moment, but they'll get there. They'll get there. All right. With that down, guys, let's move on and discuss this, shall we? In case you forgot, Jason Momoa's got a high-profile, big IP movie coming out that's not called Aquaman. It's called Minecraft. And if some of you forgot about it, I forgot about it too, but we did do a story about it on this show a long time ago. So he's got a movie coming. Well, more progress is being made on this Minecraft movie as they've got a couple of new stars, including one of the stars of Peacemaker is joining the show. This comes to us from the folks over at Deadline who write the following. We hear on good authority that Peacemaker star Danielle Brooks and Sebastian Eugene Hansen are joining the cast of Warner Brothers and Legacy's Minecraft movie. Jared Hess is directing. Now, for any of you, if you're saying, why does that name sound familiar? Jared Hess is the guy who directed Napoleon Dynamite. He directed is it Nacho Libre?
Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre. Unfortunately, which I've got to tell you, I'll be honest with you, I didn't like Nacho Libre. I wanted to like it. It's right up my alley, that movie, and I did not like it. And then he did another comedy with this incredible cast. And you guys remember Masterminds? Zach Galifianakis, Owen Wilson, Kristen
yes.
Wiig. It had this killer cat. Jason Sudeikis was in it, and it was awful. Oh my God, that movie was bad.
Trailers for it, and I did not see it.
No, Jared Hess hasn't been able to recapture that thing, much like John Heater hasn't been able to recapture the heat of Napoleon Dynamite yet. But Jared Hess is directing the Jason Momoa starring feature take on the classic computer game. Brooks will play the role of Don, while Hansen will play the role of Henry. All right, as somebody who has never once touched a Minecraft game, and just to be clear, that's not me crap talking on Minecraft. I haven't played it to crap talk on it. I'm just saying I've never played the game, so I have no idea. So I don't know if Dawn is an existing character in Minecraft. I don't know if Henry is an existing character in Minecraft. I thought it was all anonymous, but whatever. Maybe they are. Maybe these are just new characters. Listen, in the whole conversation of what the hell are you going to make a movie about in Minecraft? That's a fair question to ask. But I would then propose to you that they made a Lego movie. Like, who's going to make a movie? Who's going to watch a movie? Who's going to care about a movie about square plastic building blocks? And this is where Felipe the Sentient Dancing Microphone comes from. You can take any subject matter, if you create a great story around it and then develop compelling characters and have a good script and a good director, you can make any kind of concept work. I love that image. You can make any sort of concept work. And if you can do it with a Lego movie, you can do it with Minecraft. Do I have a hell of a lot of belief in this? No. I don't have a lot of belief in this. But if Jason Momoa signed up for it, and now you're attracting some pretty decent surrounding talent as well, maybe there's something there. Now, here's the other confusing part about it. I'm going to see if I can find this in here. Yeah, this is a very confusing thing to me. This also is in the Deadline report, says this. Writing credits on Minecraft are still being determined. What? And the Pix plot is under wraps. Okay, so wait, what do you mean the writing credits are still, like, you're still not sure who wrote this? Is that still in question? Anyway, that was a bit of a question mark for me. Anyway, Chris, Minecraft is coming. We got first from Peacemaker, Jason Momoa in it. Any interest?
Jason Momoa makes me more interested in it. Yeah. And I love Danielle. Gosh, I think she's tremendous.
She was so good in Peacemaker.
She's wonderful in everything. She was great on Orange is the New Black. I'm so excited to see her in other movies coming out too, but I believe she's in Color Purple.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I'm very, very excited to see more from her because she was so great in Peacemaker. I mean, the point of Minecraft is to be able to create with unlimited possibilities. And that's a pretty enticing template, I think, for a movie. That being said, if something is completely blue skies, it does make nailing down a story interesting and difficult. People in the chat were talking about how it could go into Telltale mode like the game does. There's also a show I know of Minecraft, an animated series.
I had no idea.
So there's a bunch of things you could do, but it does give me great pause that Sean Levy was attached to this at one point too and left.
I didn't know that.
Left because of just differences between what people thought the movie should be about and everything. I just don't, I'm still confused about what this movie is, aside from taking recognizable IP, you know? And people are having fun with it. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember a while ago, there was a rumor started that like Pedro Pascal was going to be in this as somebody named Steve and that Matt Berry was going to be in it. And I got so excited then of like, Matt Berry, I would watch anything with him. Just Laszlo being like, Minecraft. It's a great game.
Is this supposed to be animated or live
We don't
action?
know.
I don't know.
I think it's supposed to be live
I
action.
assume.
Yeah,
Oh.
live action.
Live action would kind of look cool, I guess, with the.
Like a mix, a CGI live action mix from what I understand. At any rate, that's what it's supposed to be.
My experience with Minecraft was very surprising. I saw a demo on Xbox. It was a time demo. I downloaded it just to see what the fuss was about. I ran out of time on the demo and I wanted more, but I never went back to it. So it's an addicting game. Well, if I guess it is.
Well, no, I mean, clearly it is. It is one of the most popular games like of all time. The amount of people who played this thing were absolutely insanely huge numbers. But lest anybody be tempted to say, well, since it's so popular, it's automatically going to be successful. Tell that to Pokemon fans. Tell that to
WoW fans.
Yeah, tell that to WoW fans and whatever. So it's, you know, we'll have to see if they can come up with something creative and good and make it look as joyous as say the first Lego movie did. They could be onto something. We'll see.
They can't bank on the franchise.
No,
the name on this.
No, I can't bank on the name of it. All right. With that down, guys, we still got to talk about that new Furiosa trailer that came out, and Godzilla -1 is so good. But before we get to those things, we're going to take a second and thank a couple of sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at Rocket Money and MasterClass. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Rocket Money. Do you struggle to save money every month? With Rocket Money, you can quickly identify all those sneaky subscriptions that keep charging you month after month and cancel any you no longer use. For example, did you know that over 80% of people have subscriptions that they've completely forgotten about? It's too easy to subscribe to a free trial of something and then completely forget about it once you stop using it. That's why I'm such a big fan of Rocket Money. I've told you guys before that when I started using Rocket Money, I realized that I was still subscribed to a gym in another city I had moved away from 2 years ago. Also, my music service? Yeah, I found out I was still subscribed to 2 others. How much do you think you're paying a month on subscriptions? Most people think they're paying $80 a month, but they're actually paying closer to $200. That's why I use Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. With Rocket Money, you can easily cancel the ones you don't want with just the press of a button. With over 5 million users and counting, Rocket Money has helped save its customers on an average of $720 a year and $1 billion in total savings so far. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Campea. That's rocketmoney.com/Campea. rocketmoney.com/Campea. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video, MasterClass. Guys, you know, as a small business owner, I am finding myself having to be in negotiations all the time, whether it's with new contractors, vendors, or even agencies that represent our company. Now, I don't like to go into these negotiations unarmed, so I found the perfect class on MasterClass, The Art of Negotiation by Chris Voss, a real-life former FBI lead hostage negotiator. Taking this class on MasterClass made me feel a lot more equipped and confident going into all these various negotiations I have to do on a regular basis. With MasterClass, you can learn from the best to become your best anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace. An annual membership starts at just $10 a month, and you get unlimited access to every instructor, thousands of online lessons, exclusive content, insight, and much more. There are over 180 classes to pick from, everything from filmmaking with Martin Scorsese all the way to cooking with the great Gordon Ramsay. In MasterClass, you will find practical lessons that you can apply to your life and work. So guys, get unlimited access to every class, and right now, as a John Campea Show listener, you can get 15% off when you go to masterclass.com/Campea. That's masterclass.com/Campea for 15% off an annual membership. masterclass.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at Rocket Money and MasterClass for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, with that down, let's get on to this, shall we? Mad Max Fury Road was a big hit with the fans. I mean, it was just a really fun movie. Some people thought it was one of the best films of the year. I didn't like it as much as some people did, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, I thought it was a really, really great time. And of course, we got introduced to this new character played by Charlize Theron, Furiosa. Now, I will admit that when they announced that they were going to do a Furiosa prequel, I did not love the idea. I mean, I love the character, but I would like to see things moving forward. I'm not generally a big fan of going backwards and telling prequels. There are exceptions for sure, but in general, I'm not. Then I heard Anya Taylor-Joy was going to play the younger version of Charlize Theron. I thought, okay. That's a really good pick to play the younger Furiosa. I could be on board with that. In George Miller's world, all that kind of stuff. Well, then, kind of surprisingly, coming out of CCXP in Brazil, the first trailer dropped yesterday. And so it was a little bit of, let's say, apprehension that I went ahead and fired up the trailer. I gotta say, I loved it. I really liked it. As somebody who has been doubtful about this movie, and the movie still may end up not being something that I like, but as somebody who's been pretty pessimistic about this project, I call it as I see it. The trailer came, I watched it, I was glued to the screen. I really liked what I saw. I love the visuals. I love the audio. It's just a first trailer, which means don't expect much out of it. And it is what it is. It's the second and third trailers that they should start giving you the meat of what's the movie about and all that kind of stuff. But this first trailer is just here's a little sample. Boom. And I loved it. And I did not realize when that damn trailer started that was Chris Hemsworth. I did not realize it at all. I mean, it's not quite as extreme as Colin Farrell in the Penguin prosthetics, nor as unrecognizable. Because to this day, I look at the Penguin and I'm like, I still don't see Colin Farrell in there. Once I realized that was Chris Hemsworth, okay, yeah, now I can see it. But again, it just recaptured a lot of that frantic, chaotic, anarchic energy. Look at that. I just didn't see it at first. But to really get that anarchic energy that came from Mad Max Fury Road. And of course, some of the visual cues in the trailer are going to get a lot of fans of Fury Road excited. I can't remember what the name of the guys are that paint themselves white and skip.
Yeah.
Are the ones who yell witness?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember what they called themselves. At any rate, them, Joe is in there. You going back to that world again, and I thought her arm looked awesome.
Oh, the arm looked really cool.
Oh, the arm looked so
they're
good.
called the War Boys.
The War Boys. Thank you.
Boss?
What can I say? Hey, listen, it's just a first trailer. It's just a bunch of random shots edited together. I get it, but I'm evaluating it on that premise. And I got to say, as somebody who's been skeptical, I am now suddenly kind of excited to see this movie. That's what a good trailer does. If a trailer can take you from a place of being, I could give or take that upcoming movie, and then you see the trailer and you go, okay, now I want to see this movie. That is a well-made trailer. I loved what I saw. Chris, you had a chance to see this trailer. What do you think of it?
Oh, it's just the right amount of kitsch and violence. I'm real excited about it. I think it looks great. Like you, I often have problems with prequels just because, well, I know what's going to happen to you. But this is a character where I'm excited about that journey. I'm so interested in the arm situation. I'm so interested in these other warlords. I think there's a lot of cool stuff.
Riding a bike on fire.
Yeah, it looks really rad.
Is that Ghost Rider? It's Ghost Rider, right? It's a crossover.
Nicolas Cage is in everything. This is great. Good for him. What a year. One of the things, and this is such a nitpicky issue because I know this also happened with Fury Road. The trailer has a little more CGI than I expected, just because I think of these movies as practical effect movies. But that's what happened with Fury Road too, of just kind of finishing off some things to kind of make that trailer a little glossier.
I mentioned that to John earlier.
Yeah.
They rely heavily on those speed ramps.
Exactly.
I hate speed ramps in trailers.
Yeah.
And then it just slows down.
Yeah.
But that was never in the movie.
Exactly. So I'm not
So-
too concerned about that. I think it is just to make that pace of the trailer,
Yeah.
right? So you feel like you're in that race, you're in that high speed chase and
Yeah.
everything. But I think this looks dope. And I freaking love her. And Chris Hemsworth seems like he's going to have a great time as this. He's Lord Dementis. Is that the character's name?
I
believe?
didn't see the name of the character.
Oh, I'm hyped about it.
I officially now found the name of my firstborn child.
Lord Dementor.
Lord
Lord
Dementis.
Dementis.
Oh, poor
Lord
Anne.
Dementis Campea. Oh,
Ray, you're going to be the uncle to that.
Yeah.
that kid is going to have respect everywhere he goes.
That is
I'm
an
sure of
interesting
it.
word for it.
All right, guys, the question is for you. What did you think of the trailer? Have you been pessimistic about it, excited about it, like me, like prior to it coming out, and now I've been won over? Whatever you guys think, jump on down to the comments and let us know your thoughts. All right, that down. Let's talk about this. Speaking of being a little bit pessimistic going into a movie, I admit I'm not the world's biggest fan of the Godzilla films. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoy a Godzilla movie. They're kind of fun, but you know, I mentioned this on the show the other day. To me, Godzilla movies have kind of become, they're basically like zombie movies. At the end of the day, they're really all the same. Some are better than others, but it's, you know, Godzilla comes out of the ocean, rah, rah, rah. Oh no, it's Godzilla. The city's being destroyed. Godzilla walks back out into the water. There's something, and some variation of that. Maybe there's another monster comes in that he fights. They're essentially kind of the same, much like zombie movies, right? Again, not that I haven't enjoyed a good Godzilla film. I do. But Godzilla Minus One is not one that caught my attention really. And then when I hear everybody talking about how great it is, I admit I was pessimistic. I thought this is one of those situations where this smaller foreign film, everybody's just going to rave about it because that's what you're supposed to do. These smaller foreign films with lower budgets, like 15 million, is what they made this movie for. You're supposed to come out and say how awesome it is. So I admit I was a little bit dubious. Ray got me kind of excited though. His enthusiasm for this project over the last year or over the last few months has been contagious, and I got excited to go see it. But still, when I sat in that theater last night, I didn't do it outwardly, but inside I'm kind of like this. Show me, you know, kind of thing. Guys, this movie is great.
It was so good.
This movie's great. And here's one of the best things about it. Let me start with this. Godzilla has primacy in the movie. And every moment that Godzilla is on screen, Godzilla is doing really cool stuff. The most boring shot of Godzilla in this movie is still an awesome shot. It's a shot taken from behind, a bit to the left, down low, camera pointing up.
A Pornhub.
Godzilla, Godzilla just standing there, not moving, looking up in the sky, beholding the glory of the mushroom cloud that he just created.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, oh my God, that shot is awesome. I could make a poster of that. I would totally put a poster of that up on my wall. That looks so good. It's the only time he's just kind of standing still. Everything else, I mean, yeah, Godzilla doesn't have a lot of expressions other than extremely pissed off. That's all. His face, every time it's on his face, he looks just really pissed off. But the carnage and the damage and the awe-inspired Godzilla. And when we first meet Godzilla in the movie, it's a Godzilla I don't think I've ever seen in the movies before. And I'm not going to say in what way because I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, right.
But when he first pops up in the first act of the film, like, is that Godzilla? And it was great. But let me move past Godzilla for a second. One of the complaints that a lot of people will have about Godzilla movies is sometimes when they focus too much on the humans. There's the main story of this movie is about humans. And it's a great story. They put a great human story in the context of a Godzilla movie that worked so well. At the end of the day, the movie is really about this young man who was, just finished World War II, survived the war. And one of the common refrains throughout it is, the war's still not over for me. He's still struggling and wrestling with guilt and pain and the horrors of war and trying to navigate all that while there's a giant Godzilla walking around wrecking havoc on the world.
Yep.
And they picture that with him at times trying to move on with his life and find beauty in life again, all with Godzilla is the background of it, right? And while that may sound like a mess, it worked beautifully. To the point where I am not, admittedly, the most qualified person in the world to make this statement. So take that with a grain of salt. It's a personal, subjective thing, and I'm not the most qualified to speak on this as far as Godzilla movies go. I think this is the best Godzilla movie ever made. I mean, it wasn't just, because here's the thing. A great comic book movie shouldn't just be a great comic book movie. You should be able to look at it and say, that's a great movie, period. I thought this was a really great, well-made movie, period, with or without Godzilla. And man, Godzilla's plenty of Godzilla, and it's so good. Ray, I got to go to you on this because you're the person, I don't know anybody who's been more excited about this Godzilla movie than you. What did you think about it?
Let me put this in context. Like, I haven't seen any of the older Godzilla movies, but I always loved like the actual, just this thing, like just the thought of like the lore, like of a huge dinosaur looking thing. Just
it's terrifying. I mean, that's like look at that. Even that the imagery in this, like look at it right here, right? Because I mean, you saw this movie
so
actually,
effective.
but I mean, look at that. It's terrifying.
This is not a spoiler, but I have to say the atomic breath thing is one of the greatest scenes ever. And that thing, like, I love the people in this. That I was cheering for Godzilla the whole time.
Okay, like, and let me interrupt you. Let me hold your thought. Hold your thought. What Ray just said, I was cheering for Godzilla the whole time. Jonathan just had a picture of him up a second ago, the main character of the film, right? I am sitting there in the theater, and Ray is literally, because this is not a hero Godzilla. This is a destructive force of nature Godzilla. It's not a hero. It's not a good guy Godzilla. He's the bad guy, right? As the movie's going on, and this guy is running around, Ray is like literally out loud in the theater, get him, Godzilla, get him. It's like the hero. Like, get him,
it just
Godzilla.
proves to you. It just proves to you, because I was like that at first, but the way they did the story towards the end, I was all on that guy's side.
Yeah, suddenly that's how good they did it.
That's how good this story is. You guys, if you guys give this movie a shot, this is the first movie I've seen.
Oh my God, this shot in the movie.
It's like nightmare fuel.
That shot in the movie was the whole scene. That whole scene was so
I
good.
just want to boop his little snoot.
Oh, not with that gaze.
I've never watched a movie
So
like in the
hungry.
theaters that had subtitles.
Us.
So this was my first one, and it was fine. Like I the thing with subtitles is I'm afraid to look away, even like look at my food, because I might miss something.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. Like I was following fine all along. I stayed up the whole time.
Well, I mean, I'd hope so. You've been looking forward to this.
What
you
else
slept
was I
in
gonna
this.
say? I forgot the one. If anyone gets to the theater early, I hate to change the subject real quick, but there's this trailer that played before Godzilla.
It's been haunting.
Well,
Ray.
let's stick with Godzilla for now. Let's stick with Godzilla for now. I know where you're going with that.
Okay.
But I have to just double down on this about Ray expressionisms in the thing, because there's a scene where, I won't say who or what or the context, but there's a scene where like a mother of a child gets blown away by the nuclear blast, right? You see this woman and the nuclear blast goes off and the explosion from it, and it blows this mother away. And it's kind of like this tense moment when that happens, and all you hear in the theater is Ray.
Jeez, right? You gotta have some empathy.
I didn't laugh at
Theater Godzilla.
It's like somebody rooting for Jaws.
No. Here's the thing. Godzilla was just chilling. Y'all had to explode on his thing. You woke him up, all right? So
Fair.
it's your fault.
Fair.
It's your fault. Like, he's just being an animal. If you're an animal, you do animal things, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, but I was shocked at how much emotions and the feelings I had towards the actual people. I was there for Godzilla. I left with like, I wonder
Cheering
what
for
these
the characters.
people. I wonder what's going to happen to these people. I hope this happens for them, or this happens. So it was a great roller coaster where I went full circle.
Yeah.
In this,
and listen, this has got to be noted. The movie had a production budget of $15 million.
insane.
Did this look like a $200 million film? No, it did not look like a $200 million film. But my God, it looks like a hell of a lot more than a $15 million film.
Yeah.
Like it's movies like District 9 and it's movies like this that go, if you can do this for 15 million, what is the excuse of some studios making movies that look like they should have cost 65 million but cost 210 million? Like
I also got to say one more thing. For me, at least, I needed a movie like this. If you've been disappointed in the past couple movies you've seen, you want to switch it up. Maybe in something that you think you might not be into, you're like subtitles, this and that. Give it a shot. I mean, it's a good time. I mean, really, as much emotion as there is in the movie, I had a good time. I had a good time the whole time.
And to your point, like seeing a movie like this, because I realized today, like I'm always excited about going to the movies, but you know, when you see a couple of mediocre ones in a row, your enthusiasm drops a little bit. But seeing a movie like that, all of a sudden now I'm like, man, I can't wait to see American Fiction. Yeah. Man, I can't wait to see Silent Night. Man, I can't wait to see Wonka. Like I find myself getting like more hyped now about getting back into the movie theaters. That's what a good movie can do for you. Yeah. Chris, you did not see Godzilla Minus One with us.
No, I kept going, I'll go see it. And then there were 8:30 showings and I know who I am.
You go to bed.
I go to bed then. I'm an old lady. I'm doing stand-up tomorrow at 9:30 and I was like, PM? PM? What if we do a morning show?
Where are you doing stand-up?
We're stand-up at Flappers.
What? In Burbank?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
it's going to be
then.
a fun time. It's going to be nice.
Oh,
yeah.
I should go.
Yeah. It'll be good. But back to Godzilla. I am very excited about this movie. I've just been excited and waiting to see how Ray's responded because your tomato tracker has been so wonderful. I'm just checking in on the reviews.
What is it right now, even though
It's
you've seen it?
96%.
Okay.
That's the first thing I checked.
We got to find a couple people just
There's like
tell
two
them
people.
what's what.
Two people.
Two of you get on board. I'm very excited about this. I love kaiju movies. I love monster movies. I love that kind of stuff. I know you guys know horror isn't my thing really, but anytime it's a monster wrecking shop, I'm here for it. Because I am more like Ray, where I tend to root for the kaiju of just like, humanity, you're such bullshit. Get out of its way. It's just a sleepy baby who you disturbed.
Exactly.
Oh, and the design of Godzilla.
That was different.
It's just the face. The whole time the face. It's just,
is the
so
Godzilla
good.
that we have right now that was in King of the Monsters, is that considered American Godzilla? The American version
I think
of
so, yeah.
See, the thing with the American version of Godzilla is I think he's adorable. Even when he was beating the crap out of Kong, I was like, look at that cute face. He has such a big neck. You know, like he's a cute, like you can make that. This Godzilla, on the other hand, this one looks like it wants to eat you, even if you're already dead. He'll eat you anyways. He'll eat you again, spit you out. This Godzilla.
There was some of that in the movie.
Yeah, I love the differences in these. Now I have two Godzillas, but then I went home to Monarch, and
I still haven't seen the new episode of Monarch.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about that. It's
The mouth
should have went reverse.
He has a smaller mouth. His his build is a little less.
But
like,
he's cute. Look, he's like tubby.
He is tubby.
Look at the hands.
That's why I love him. It's like a baby Godzilla.
This
Yeah.
Godzilla has huge claws. His are little like T-Rex babies.
It's like if you could take Godzuki seriously.
Godzuki.
Yeah, this Godzilla wasn't cute. He was terrifying.
All right.
He was a menace.
With that down, guys, we highly recommend you get out and see Godzilla Minus One. It's a lot of fun. All right, with all that out of the way now, we're going to go over and start taking your questions, guys. So you can go ahead and fire some in, or unless we've turned off, we'll be turning off the super chats now, but we'll be getting to the questions you guys have fired in. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second and thank the sponsor of the John Campea Show podcast, my mobile service provider, and they should be yours, Mint Mobile. Guys, we want to take a moment to thank a sponsor of today's video, Mint Mobile. Give yourself the gift of insane savings this holiday season with Mint Mobile's best wireless deal of the year. Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy any 3-month plan, you'll get another 3 months for free. That's 6 months of premium wireless service for the price of 3. And Mint Mobile lets you order and activate from home while saving tons on phone plans starting at just $15 a month. Seriously, I can't think of a better gift than turning an overpriced wireless bill into just $15 a month with Mint Mobile. I've told you guys many times, since switching to Mint Mobile, I am spending less than a third on my mobile service plan with Mint than I was on the previous big carrier who was my provider. By going online only and eliminating the traditional cost of retail, Mint Mobile passes the significant savings on to you. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily and effortlessly with eSIM. So again, for a limited time, buy Buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 more months free by going to mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at Mint Mobile for being the main sponsor of the John Campea Show podcast. Okay, guys, with that down, let's get on to your questions here, shall we? Chris, what do we got up first?
From AM, went to see Godzilla yesterday. Really good film, but the theater room was empty. Has there been a time where your theater was empty?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This week.
This week, yeah?
I went and saw Wish, and it was just me.
Oh.
I was alone in the theater.
That's kind of cool. I've had that happen like once for sure, maybe twice.
Yeah, once or twice this happened to me
was
too
nice.
about that. But, and the reality is, look, this Godzilla -1 isn't going to make a lot of money in the North American box office. It's just not like even us. We were there at the first screening last night, and it maybe was a third. It was in a small theater too, and it was maybe a third full. But we had a good time.
Yeah.
I think you'll have a good time
You
too.
guys are missing out then.
All right, what's next?
From Jesse Roy, it's been 10 years without Paul Walker. Oh my gosh, has it already been 10 years?
Yeah, I still remember. I was in Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas, sitting at a poker table, I believe with Jason Alexander from Seinfeld, and in between hands, checking, just checking messages on my phone, notifications, and seeing the news story came across. A bunch of people sending me messages. Paul Walker just died. Paul Walker just died. And when I looked into it, it said Paul Walker died while in a race car or a sporty car and crashed. That's when I thought, oh, okay, this is fake. Somebody made this up. And then a few minutes later, seeing it confirmed. And yeah, I'll always remember. I'll remember where I was when I found out Paul Walker died. I remember where I was when I found out that Hugh Jackman, when Heath Ledger passed away. It was one of the more and just the way he died too was just really sad. All right, what's next?
From Victor Edbaum, first trailer for Grand Theft Auto will debut on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. The hype is real.
I was just asking the guys, when did 5 come out? And I think Jonathan was probably like, it came out like 10 years ago.
No, 2013.
2013?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people have been waiting for this game. It's going to be really interesting to see. Is the hype still really there? Or have they waited too long? Look, it's clearly going to be big.
Yeah.
Nobody's denying it, but the question is now how big?
I don't know, because the high stuff and the online is so big.
Yeah, people still sell those
And if it
game
looks
cards.
beautiful, I mean, we thought GTA 5 looked beautiful and still does. So now imagine 6 up for like the new consoles. It's going to look so immersive. So
And whatever main song they pick is going to be stuck in my head. It's going to be attached to GTA.
The main song, but
every
also-
main song for every GTA has been.
but also the radio stations. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
From Tim, The Boys and House of the Dragon trailer coming out tomorrow.
Ooh. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, I
Fun.
mean, House of the Dragon, they finished shooting. I remember we covered it on the show here a little while ago. They're done shooting House because they were able to keep shooting through the actor strike. So they're all wrapped up on their shooting. And yeah, CCXP is going on there and seeing the next trailer for The Boys, especially coming off of Gen V. Very excited. All right, what's next?
God, House of the Dragon.
From Britain, thoughts on Godzilla -1? Once Takashi Yamazaki wanting to direct Star Wars as his next film. He says it's what got him into filmmaking.
I X director directing X movie. I mean, look, I thought did a very good job with this Godzilla movie. Whether that means he's a good fit to do a Star Wars one. Look, if they announce tomorrow that he's doing a Star Wars film, I'll be all for it. But there's a lot of good storytellers out there. As long as you get a good storyteller, I'm good. All right, what's next?
From TJ Perry, Godzilla -1 at Cinemark Screen X equals awesome.
Oh.
What is Cinemark Screen X?
It's like that huge one that's like wide, I believe.
Oh,
It's like a white-
okay. That I would like to see.
believe
That
that's it.
sounds pretty cool. All right, what's next?
From Guzman, -1's only weakness is the little girl paintings. Her crying acting, though, fire. Atomic, fire. Also, I cried manly tears at the last phase of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Last phrase of the movie?
I don't know that I can remember what the last phrase was.
No, the last phase, I think.
He said phrase.
Oh,
Yeah.
phrase.
But at any rate, we were actually talking about it before the show started. The little girl was adorable.
Yeah.
And is basically my wife when she was a child.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Aw.
That's
Yeah.
Anne, yep.
The little girl in is absolutely adorable, and they just did so much right with the movie. Look, is this a perfect movie? No. Do I think it should be nominated for Best Picture of the Academy Awards? No. I'm just saying, I have never enjoyed myself as much watching a Godzilla movie as I did this one. All right, what's next?
From Suthius, with so many characters in the MCU, I hope to see more team-ups like the Marvels and Thunderbolts. With solo movies, it takes forever to see them again.
And that's something they got to work on. And it never used to be too big of a problem. Like we went from, first of all, we went from Iron Man 1 to Iron Man 2 to Iron Man 3 by movie lifespans in pretty rapid succession, right? They probably should start focusing, because again, one of my big criticisms of the MCU right now, and I'm an MCU fan. I'm not an MCU hater or anything. I'm an MCU fan. But, one of the weaknesses of the MCU is that they've so overexpanded. There are so many characters that it's becoming a very overcrowded universe, and we never get around. Where the hell is Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
Like they introduce these characters and then we don't even think about them again for years.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a little bit more crossover stuff might be appropriate if they can come up with the right stories for it. All right, what's next?
From Cody Hunt, met Roger Deakins last
Nice.
week at a book signing. Is he the best DP of all time? Shawshank, Fargo, Skyfall, No Country for Old Men,
He's in the
1917, Blade Runner 2049.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it this way. There are not a lot of cinematographers
Right.
that many people who are part of the average movie-going audience have ever heard their names. More people know Deakins' name than probably any other cinematographer ever. I mean, that's just how profound he's been. And didn't he just win his first Academy Award?
Oh,
I thought because I believe he was the cinematographer for Blade Runner 2049.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he won the Academy Award for that. And I thought I heard that might've been his first Academy Award win. I could be mistaken about that, but he, what's that?
Academy Award for Blade Runner 2049.
And that's the only one he won.
I just see BAFTAs, National Film Association. Yeah, only Academy Award, Critics' Choice stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, but he's certainly, if not the best, one of the best. All right, what's next?
from Sean in 3D. As a massive fan of Ender's Game, the movie, I'm very sad that it flopped. Did any of you enjoy Ender's Game, and would you like to see a sequel?
Harrison Ford was in that, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I
I'm
didn't love
having
it.
to Google it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Because I mean, I was aware of the book series.
Yeah.
But I never saw the movie.
Yeah,
The
this movie
kind of
didn't-
got panned.
It didn't really do it for me.
I like the premise of the movie.
No, the premise is good. Actually, as a matter of fact, a week before the movie came out, or at least before, again, back when I was wasting my time going to press screenings, and a week before I was going to go to a press screening of it, I decided I was in Vegas playing poker for the weekend. And so I used my Amazon credits to download an Audible, the audiobook of it. And I decided to go through the audiobook that weekend. And I really liked the book, but I didn't love the movie. I just thought that it didn't capture it right, I thought, unfortunately. Although, is that Asa? Who was the star?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he did a good job, but, I just thought the movie could have been better. All right, what's next?
From Jedediah Elias, holiday season box office, Wonka or Aquaman 2?
Oh, easy, Aquaman 2. I don't necessarily think that'll be the better movie, but I think more, even with the, muted box office projections that it has right now, I think it's going to make, I don't think Wonka is going to be a blockbuster by any stretch. I don't think it's going to make a ton of money. I think Wonka will be the better movie, but I think easily Aquaman 2 will make the more money.
And
All
then
right.
just real quick correction for Roger Deakins. He has 2.
Oh, okay.
So it was 2024, 1917, and then 2018.
Oh, he won for 1917.
Yeah, 1970, and then 2018 for Blade Runner.
Okay,
so 2.
got it. But Blade Runner was the first one that he
Yes,
won, right?
yeah.
Okay. What's next?
From The Batman, the best Godzilla movie deserves the best Ray Godzilla roar.
If this is the same person,
I don't hear any roaring.
I don't know.
Yeah,
There you go.
perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see?
see?
Beautiful.
Why did that sound like a stray dog looking for a bone?
That was great creature work.
Chris Carr gave the approval, so y'all
Yeah.
shut up.
Y'all can shut up.
Y'all
Oh,
shut
that's
up.
all that matters.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. That was like $100
Wait,
tip.
what? For the roar?
Bring that up, yeah.
Holy
Oh,
shit.
Ray,
For
now you gotta do
$100,
another
we're
roar.
gonna have to. We might all have to roar for that 100. That's the hell?
You gotta get all.
There's a dog in there. Sorry.
Doesn't Godzilla kind of go like?
I know. Okay. Well, I've been in the
That's
chat
good.
room. I believe the Batman. He's been asking me to do it, and I said, you know what? You don't have to give me anything. I'll do Godzilla Roar for free. So,
Aw.
but thank you so much. That's
I don't know
Thank
if they
you,
do it in
Batman.
-1, but I did like the wind up in this American version of Godzilla. It was like whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, with the nuclear. Oh my God,
whoa.
yeah. And the spine spikes.
Yeah. Oh, it gives me chills.
Woo,
Multiplying.
woo. So good. Hey, thank you so much, man,
That's
for
so
supporting our
nice.
channel on that level, man. We
Rawr.
really appreciate it. It's extremely generous of you,
Dang.
man. Thank you.
I'll roar every week.
Yeah.
Every day.
I'll roar every week.
day of next week when John says, I'm joined by Ray, I'll go, "Roar," every day of
It's
next
like
week.
Godzilla's in the room.
I know.
It's just uncanny. I'm like,
my
wait a minute,
God.
what's going on? All right, what's
terror.
next?
From Robert Cabrera, some support. From the Cuban Sandwich, a $20 super chat.
Thank you, Cuban Sandwich.
I love Cuban
I love a
sandwiches.
Cuban.
Ooh,
Yeah.
man.
Godzilla 98 is underrated. Is it?
Is that the one with
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew
Hank Azaria and Matthew Broderick? Yeah.
Is it underrated or is it an acquired taste?
Yeah.
If you like it, that's great. That's
I mean,
not my
hey,
jam.
nothing against underground Godzilla eggs, but is it underrated?
That Godzilla looked weak to me too. Like I didn't ever saw the movie, but I saw the
More
toys
of
of
like
it,
a zilla-
and I was
zil-
like,
lizard.
That looks like just a big lizard.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'll give it this though. For its time, it looked pretty great. I mean,
sure.
in 1990, you're going back now 25 years, and what they were able to do with the visual effects in that was actually quite impressive. But yeah, I didn't love the movie, unfortunately. But hey, that is the very definition of what is or should be to you an underrated film. Films that other people don't put a lot of stock in, but you see more value in it.
Yeah.
So the very fact that we don't think it's underrated just enforces that to you it is very much underrated. All right. Thanks for sharing, man. What's next?
From Arturo, usually I love seeing Godzilla wreck shop, but I truly was like, please don't do it, Godzilla. It's the best Godzilla made and best human in characters.
I think you're right on the nose there. This is the best use of human characters, I think, in a Godzilla. They literally told a great, compelling story about this character and his life coming back from the war.
and even that captain on the ship too. He
All
was
the
so
side
good.
characters
He's so
were all
lovable,
good.
too. Yeah.
All the side characters were great.
So
Like
great,
the
man.
lady neighbor.
yeah.
Like I like all of the side characters were great. The mechanic I thought was a great character, and they do a great callback in the
Oh
movie.
yeah. It's so
They do the best job with human characters I think they've ever. Now, that aside from Monarch, which has been a great show so far, but it really is a show about the human characters.
Right.
But I mean, as far as Godzilla movies go, I think you're right. I think it's the best they've ever done. All right, what we got up next?
Members from the Brandon Salad. Hey, crew, doing a double feature with Silent Night and Dream Scenario tonight.
Nice.
Very intrigued about Dream Scenario. Such a fascinating concept.
The trailer is amazing. For those of you who don't know, this is the new Nicolas Cage one, where for some reason, everybody in the world starts having him in their dreams. Even when they've never seen him, heard about him, met him, anything, everybody's realizing they've all got the same guy in their dream, and it's this character played by Nicolas Cage. And what happens when suddenly he's a celebrity? Like, what does this mean? The concept sounds fascinating. Do they execute? I don't know, but it does sound fascinating. But I'm very excited about Silent Night as well. Very excited about that. All right, what's next?
From Ulatan. Over under 25, The Boys Mexico will be mostly in Spanish with subtitles.
Under. I think there will be a good amount of it being in Spanish with subtitles, but I don't think it'll be the majority of the show.
Not that it's associated in any way, but with Narcos and Narcos Mexico, was that not in Spanish with subtitles?
Most of it. A whole bunch of it was.
Right? I don't remember them. Now I have to go back and see because I can't remember.
I
now.
don't think the first Narcos was, but Narcos Mexico
Was?
I think was more of that. You know, it's been a few years. I don't know. That's a really good question. It's been a few years since I've seen it. All right. What's next?
From Red One Real Talk. I was looking at some of the promos for Shogun, and I have some promising news for Ray. His crush in Monarch is also in this series, and she doesn't wear a trench coat.
Whoa.
She's a cute girl. She's cute.
Cute.
Yeah.
but it's fading off now though.
It's fading?
After this past episode.
It
Oh,
takes
no.
it takes a lot
Yeah.
to keep Ray's interest.
Yeah.
Takes a lot.
It's fading away.
But yeah, Shogun might be my most anticipated TV series in my lifetime. Like, I'm so stoked for this. All right, what's next?
From we did these.
Oh,
From Jesse the Savage to Callum. Hey, John and crew, do you think we'll see Brian Paul Walker's character back in Fast 11? I feel like they should bring his character back as he was a big part of the franchise, and Brian surely can't keep staying away from those family barbecues.
I mean, look, I will say this. They built into their story, which is not a word you often associate with Fast and the Furious. They built into their story, though, a very compelling reason why he's not there. It's like, look, his new number one priority is his child.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to stay out of, for lack of a better term, the lifestyle. He's got to stay away from it because the kid comes first. That by itself, that alone has never made me wonder, why isn't Brian there, right? So do I think they'll bring the Brian character back being played by one of Paul Walker's brothers? I think there's a decent chance they do. Do I feel like they need to?
No,
No, I don't.
Yeah, the franchise needs more than that right now.
Yeah, the franchise needs, it's like so bad right now.
I feel like recasting that too is just so loaded for that cast, particularly Vin. I mean, he's
Yeah.
that
be
was
too
his
much.
brother.
Yeah.
And I don't see him redoing that casting. Maybe they will, but I feel like that would be something very, very difficult and something that they don't feel comfortable doing.
Unless,
Again, if they do it with one of Paul Walker's
Actual
real life brothers, then
sure,
there's
I can
a
see
poetry
that.
to
I can
right?
understand
But why?
that. But yeah, they gave him the send off.
but why any Fast?
Yeah, I mean, that's the
Why
thing.
so
They-
furious?
Yeah.
I still remember being in the theater, and anybody who had never followed the franchise and just sat down and looked at the clip of "When I See You Again" and the cars go off in different directions, maybe it doesn't hit you, but being somebody who followed the franchise for like over a decade and watching that, and you know what the tragedy was
Yep.
while they were making that movie, that ending send-off was so utterly perfect. Like, it's almost funny how perfect it is. As they look at each other, smiling, and they
It's
drive their
split, the
cars in
road
different
split.
directions. It broke the fourth wall
that road split was
because it wasn't even about the movie. It was about, that scene was for Vin Diesel. That scene was for the people who worked with Paul, and the scene was for the audiences who knew Paul Walker's work. It wasn't really about the movie at all. It was about us sharing together, saying goodbye to Paul Walker. And it would almost feel like to now bring that character back after you did this big, iconic goodbye scene, it feels like it might undermine that a bit.
And I was good that whole scene until the aerial shot where you saw both cars splitting.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Then
where it
everybody
got
starts
me right there. It got me right there.
All right, we got time for one more question today. What's next?
From Mighty Tank 1, James Gunn is the man, but I'm concerned he's falling down the same rabbit hole Marvel did. About 10 projects announced already, and apparently that's only a portion of this first chapter. James is great at directing both film and television, but he can't do it all.
Well, he's only directing one movie.
Yeah, he's not doing it all.
The other he's
Well,
going to have.
and Peter is going to be there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to help run the studio, James Gunn's going to oversee the creative, but he's going to be standing on the outside and bringing other directors in. Plus, remember, these 10 projects, he never said, these 10 projects all coming in the first 2 years. No, this part one of the plan could be 5, 6, 7 years long. I mean, we just don't know right yet. If they start cranking out 3 projects a year, all of them having different directors, that is very manageable. I think that's back when Marvel was firing in all cylinders, when they were like putting out 3 projects a year as opposed to cranking out 6 and 7 projects a year. So I think it's very manageable. Understanding James Gunn is not going to be direct. He's directing Superman Legacy, and he might do another one down the road, but that's the only one he's planning on directing right now. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. All right. And that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here, guys, and making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions. Number 1, because you gave us fun things to talk about. But number 2, you supported our channel, especially you, Batman. Thank you for that. At the same time.
It's like he's independently wealthy or something.
I know.
It also sounds a little bit like Scooby-Doo. Anyway, don't forget, guys, to have a marvelous, safe, fun, and relaxing weekend. And we'll see you guys back here again on Monday. I want to thank the people in the room with me. Ray Orr.
Go see Godzilla if you can. Make it a little bit early because there's this ISS trailer you got to see. It looks fire.
Also, Jonathan Voico. Chris Carr.
Yeah.
Oh, there it
you
is.
go.
I'll give you the best one.
Dang.
Oh yeah.
My
There.
name's
we
Sean
go.
Campea. That'll do it for us. And until next time, my friends,
It's cheap.
bye-bye.